It's Tuesday, November 1st, and this is now on HNN.
A severe weather update. More than 100 are dead and dozens feared missing as a storm lashes the Philippines.
Shanghai Disneyland visitors locked in the park for hours, reportedly over a single COVID case.
It's 1 week until Election Day. I'm Natalie Brand on Capitol Hill. A look at the final sprint in the races that could decide the balance of power.
HIF is back.
All these stories, plus we'll take a look at what's happening this year at HIF. That's coming up on This Is Now. Good afternoon. Thanks for watching. This is Now. We got Mark in for Ashley today at noon. Well, getting locked inside Disneyland may seem like a dream for many.
Yeah, but in China right now, that's a reality as thousands of guests are caught in a COVID shutdown. MTS Taiyap has the details.
Crowds rushed to get out of Shanghai's Disneyland resort, but it was too late. A COVID scare Monday shut down the park, trapping thousands inside. This tourist says, "Of course I feel anxious, but at least my ticket was refunded." Authorities closed the gates of the Magic Kingdom after a woman who recently visited tested positive for COVID. All guests were forced to stay put until they tested negative. It's the latest example of China's tough zero-COVID strategy aimed at isolating every case. It was a bit of a letdown for these friends who flew to Shanghai to celebrate Halloween. She says, "There are no floats, no fireworks. We didn't see anything." The same thing happened a year ago when 30,000 people were trapped at Shanghai Disney during a COVID contact tracing drill. And while the restrictions may put a damper on the happiest place on earth, China's government is more concerned it's one of the safest. Imtiaz Taib, CBS News.
Now to a severe weather update from the Philippines. Relief crews are on the ground assessing the needs of children and families caught in the path of tropical storm Manti, which swept through the country over the weekend, causing flooding and landslides. More than 100 people have died and at least 863,000 have been displaced across several regions. Over 3 million people live in the area impacted by the storm. UNICEF posted this update to Twitter.
Behind me is Mount Minandar, considered the highest peak here, that caused massive landslides and flooding here, that swept away nearly 200 homes and displaced nearly thousands of residents, including children. We are here to assess the situation and check the needs of the displaced population. In our conversations with the authorities and the displaced people, they need immediate temporary shelter, food, water, health, nutrition, and protection interventions.
Manti is the latest of over 20 storms that have hit the Philippines during the 2022 Pacific typhoon season.
Shock and grief in South Korea, along with frustration and anger over the lack of response to that deadly street crush. Now, police records show that authorities were warned about a possible crush 4 hours before the deadly incident. At least 156 people were killed. Will Ripley has more from Seoul.
You can see the police officers are out here now, just down the block there. That's the alley where the majority of the people died. This is the memorial here. It just continues to grow. All of these white chrysanthemums, which are the flowers that people use to mourn the dead here in Asia. You have notes, you have photos, you have candles, you have bottles of alcohol, all of the traditional trappings of a memorial. And yet you also have people out here, and people have been coming here, expressing their anger and their frustration with how this was handled by the police, because the police station, I can see the sign just right there across the street. This is Dr. Reagan Samwa, who actually came here to drop by some flowers. Now, you were here. I'm going to stand close to you because I have my mic to hear your audio. Tell me what you saw before the deadly crash.
I've been living here for more than 10 years. I'm nearby. It's 5 minutes from my house. Then, every time when there is a Halloween party, when there is an event, it's not only Halloween, they usually block the road.
They didn't do that this time.
Yes, but for this time they didn't do that.
So did you see what happened? I mean, what?
Yes, I saw that. I was even 1 hour before the event happened.
Yeah.
I was behind. I said, oh my God, this is a disaster. People, something can happen here.
And people were calling that police station right there.
I'm telling you,
there were 11 calls.
No police, no anyone here.
So how do you feel now here watching this?
I need to leave this place. I was the other side. Then something happened.
Yeah.
Bodies. I'm witnessed. I saw 2 girls were just behind. They're just in front of me.
Yeah.
I saw them. They were collecting. They became dead bodies. Honestly.
You watched people die in front of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
so
telling
sorry.
you. I tried even to do CPR and whatever. It didn't work.
None of the people that they did CPR on were able to make it.
I'm telling you. Before the police came and whatever, voluntary people came, just tried to help. People were in danger or something like that. But honestly, it's a disaster.
Tell me why you're here now. What are you doing here now?
I came just, yesterday I came to drop a flower because they give us 5 days. I came to drop my second flowers tonight because it's in my area.
It's one of those things you saw you're not going to be able to get out of your head. Yeah.
I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized right away, to be honest. I'm really traumatized.
And you and so many other people who are out here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people being traumatized, showing like dead bodies, people that are putting in plastic bag and whatever. Oh my God.
It's unthinkable.
Oh.
Dr. Salma, thank you. Thanks for talking.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hang in there.
Honestly.
I mean, the things he's saying, we hear over and over and over again. People have been out here. Some people come here, they stand here at this memorial, and they just stand and start screaming. Screaming, why didn't the government do more? Why didn't the police do more? You have a police station right there. You have 11 phone calls. People, you could hear screaming and groaning in the background on these emergency calls, and nothing was done in time.
Have you seen this new video into our newsroom from overnight of a crash that happened in Waikiki while many Halloween partiers were out and about? A car ended up on its roof right in the middle of Duke's Lane. That's that one-way road right by the International Marketplace. It happened around 2 a.m. Police on the scene told us they're trying to figure out which direction the car was traveling and how it crashed. Now, EMS is telling us they did respond to treat a female in her mid-20s, but she declined. We're still trying to track down more information on this crash. We'll keep you posted if any updates do come in.
Well, Pfizer has announced the end of what they call a promising trial for its RSV vaccine, and now it goes to the FDA for approval. If approved, the inoculation could be given to young patients by next winter. Mike Valerio joins us from Los Angeles with the latest developments. Hey, Mike.
And Mark, just to give you an idea of how bad this season is for RSV, we have 10 times the number of hospitalizations for kids than we did in pre-COVID, relatively normal years. That is why this vaccine candidate is such welcome news.
Looking back at pictures, you could see it in her eyes that they were just like puffy. I was in panic mode. It was terrifying.
As pediatric hospitals across the country still see an above average number of hospitalizations due to respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, Pfizer is announcing the end of its trial for the RSV vaccine and says it's ready to submit its data to the FDA by the end of the year. The news welcomed by doctors.
This actually is very significant, especially because we are seeing right now the struggles that we can have as a community.
In the Pfizer study, not yet published or peer-reviewed, 7,400 pregnant participants were given a single shot of the vaccine during the late second to third trimester of their pregnancies. Pfizer says the vaccine was 82% effective at preventing severe illness in babies and 70% effective in preventing severe RSV in infants for 6 months.
In the RSV vaccine, that will be a different category of vaccines. That would be one that will be protecting the mom and most importantly, the newborn.
Children's hospitals remain filled with virus patients due to RSV. Brittany Rivera's 6-year-old son had to wait hours just to see a doctor.
Just having him not be able to actually get good rest is the worst because he's so tired and he can't sleep very well.
Pfizer also saying that they're making headway with positive results in an ongoing trial of the same vaccine for older adults.
And Mark, in the course of our reporting, so many parents have asked us, why is there not a vaccine ready at this point in this day and age after COVID? Well, there was an effort in the 1960s to actually tackle this vaccine, but the effort failed. Now, after everything we've been through with COVID and advancements in vaccine science, scientists have been able to target the F protein, the critical protein for this virus, and they are making headway as we speak.
And now the need is even more critical. And now, as we have seen over the last several months, as we've seen the spike in RSV, this is a virus that's really scary, especially for parents of young children. What are the warning signs to look out for?
Sure. Well, Mark, it's, warning signs they tend to start out as a common cold, but what really escalates things here, what parents should know about in terms of what we've found from doctors through our reporting, is when trouble breathing happens. That is when things escalate. That is when children may need to go to the ER. And explicitly, when we're talking about trouble breathing, doctors are telling us that you should look under your children's clothing, like bath time, whatever. Look at their bellies. If there are labored breathings, like you are seeing your child's rib cage, it's not an effortless breathing, the motions from your upper body. But if their bellies are heaving in and out, really tired, labored, muscle-intensive breathing, that is the point where RSV could be a potential ailment that your child is suffering from, and the moment when it's time to go to the ER. Mark.
Yes, something that's really terrifying. And about the ER, how are our hospitals being overwhelmed?
Yeah, it's really striking to see these numbers that we just went through this morning. 77% of pediatric beds across the United States are filled right now. That's extraordinary. Before COVID, the usual numbers are about in the 60s, 2/3 filled. So across the country, those numbers are starting to tick down ever so slightly. But where we are here in Southern California, you just get outside of our newsroom, take the freeway down to Orange County. Mark, they've declared a public health emergency in Orange County because they are in danger of running out of pediatric beds. They are hoping to get more money from the federal government. So bottom line, there are hopeful signs throughout the U.S. that these numbers could be trickling down ever so slightly, but you do have cases like in Orange County here in California where the situation is still dire.
Just really alarming. Mike Valerio from California, thank you very much. We always appreciate your time and insight.
Delta Airlines pilots could be going on strike soon. In an Airline Pilots Association vote, 99% of Delta pilots authorized a strike to get a new contract. The pilots say they're working with an outdated contract from back in 2016. The union says negotiations have been on and off for more than 3 years. If there was a strike, it wouldn't happen until after Thanksgiving. Delta says negotiations have been progressing. Airline officials say they are confident the company can reach an agreement with the pilots. Well, time is running out for those candidates looking to sway voters ahead of next week's election. Natalie Brand has the very latest developments from Washington, D.C.
I protected him, and I wanted this to remain private.
The second woman who has accused Georgia's Republican Senate hopeful Herschel Walker of paying for her abortion told ABC News she felt manipulated by the former NFL star.
He was very clear that he did not want me to have the child. He said that because of his wife's family and powerful people around him, that I would not be safe and that the child would not be safe.
Walker, in a statement Tuesday morning, called it a, quote, lie, saying the entire Democrat machine is coming after me and the people of Georgia. New polling shows the Senate race between Walker and Democratic incumbent Raphael Warnock in a dead heat. Warnock believes the race is close because he says many voters are loyal to their party.
many people in our country and in our state are often either wearing a blue jersey or a red jersey.
Like in other battleground states, the candidates know it will be a fight for every last supporter in this final week of campaigning. In Pennsylvania, the Senate race between Republican Dr. Mehmet Oz and Democratic Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman could not be closer. Analysts say the final sprint will be a battle for suburban voters. And President Biden returns to the campaign trail today. He'll be in Florida to support the Democrats running for governor and U.S. Senate. Natalie Brind, CBS News, Washington.
And we just got some breaking news into our newsroom from the world of sports.
Yeah, moments ago, it was announced Manti Te'o has been voted into the Polynesian Football Hall of Fame. The Laie native and Punahou alum, recognized for an incredible college career at Notre Dame that saw him become a Heisman Trophy finalist, three-time All-American, one of the great linebackers to ever play for the Fighting Irish. Now, he's re-emerged publicly after openly discussing what happened in the off-the-field catfishing scandal, which was shown in a recent Netflix documentary. Much more on this story and the other inductees ahead in our 4 o'clock newscast.
All right, want to take you live outside right now. Look at Washington, D.C. Beautiful fall colors out there right now. You should have saw it popping just a few minutes ago when that orange sunset was hitting it. Let's see what our own weather's going to be like. Here's Guy Hoggy.
So we've got these breezy winds, right, getting stronger tomorrow. Notice the streamlines increase in intensity, and they will remain firm all the way through Saturday. And then on Sunday, they'll start to pull back a little bit. So the 7-day forecast reflects this, looking at some pretty good conditions, especially today and for the better part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, again, get ready for slightly stronger trade winds. And then between Wednesday night and Thursday, increasing showers, especially for the windward sides of Maui and Hawaii Island. And those showers will be lingering around through Friday. Leeward sides might get some splashes as well. We're not expecting a washout, but you will notice the change and the uptick in shower activity Thursday and Friday. And then on Saturday, things dry out. Lighter winds due back on Sunday.
So there's a lot happening at HIF this year. Billy V has the rundown.
All right, the Hawaii International Film Festival is starting up this weekend, and they want to see you out at the theaters.
This year, HIF is back, ready to fill our theaters and see all of our audiences all across in Honolulu, on Oahu, and on our neighbor islands as well. So we're really excited. We have more guests coming than we've had since 2019. And we have, 200 films that we're bringing to the great people of Hawaii.
Yeah, they did it virtual before, but they want you to go out to the theaters now. Go to HIF.org and see the full listings and information on times and places. The film, The Wind and the Reckoning, that will also be a part of HIF, won Audience Choice for Best Feature and the Kumiyi Award for Best Indigenous Film at the San Diego Film Festival over the weekend. It will have its Hawaii opening Thursday night at Bishop Museum.
And every single ticket sold is super important because it gives us a shot to keep playing. But this is our chance to prove that Hawaii independent cinema can be commercially viable. So we really would love people to show up.
This is one of the most stellar opportunities I've had in my career. Just the importance of the film, the levels of meanings and life lessons in the film. It honestly shares with the world a very human touch. And that it's sometimes hard to acquire in the cinema.
I'll be the MC coming up on Thursday night, screening of the movie. That's going to be at Bishop Museum. It also starts in theaters, Consolidated Ward, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
On the island where I live, hidden beneath the forest, my family discovered a cave. It holds the remains of my ancestors. In the Hawaiian culture, burials are kapu, which means forbidden and sacred.
That's part of the trailer from Kapu, Sacred Hawaiian Burials. It's from local filmmaker Keone Alvarez. He tells us it's been picked up by the Hawaii International Film Festival. The movie theater premiere happens at Hilo Palace Theater on November 20th. Another hit movie is called Lahi. It's about an 18-year-old girl who returns to Oahu for her grandmother's funeral, but ends up reconnecting her to her Filipino family roots.
It's definitely very loosely based on my life as like a third-generation Filipino-American woman.
Being able to play Mimi was probably one of the most honorable things I've done in my career so far. It's the first role I've ever done and a very proud thing I've been able to accomplish.
It was co-written by Hawaii's Angelique Axelrod. This short movie was filmed in 5 days around Oahu just about a year ago with nearly all cast and crew from Hawaii. It will screen this Friday night at Consolidated Kahala Theater at 6 p.m.
All right. The internet still definitely talking about Halloween,
Yes,
right?
it's always great to have the day after Halloween stories. Now, a new study is out saying that 2/3 of parents say they steal their children's candy after trick-or-treating. And it's not just, a fun-sized bar or two. We're talking about up to 1/3 of the entire haul. In terms of excuses to emerge in this report, something that's come out is, some parents say the candy magically disappeared. Others say they had to, quote, inspect it for safety. I'm certainly guilty of that. My kids are still young, but every time they picked up something last night, I'm like, nope, not yet. I have to look at it.
Well, our senior producer, Linda, was just passing out candy around the newsroom that she borrowed from her kid who they just get too much, right? You don't want to give them that
Exactly,
much sugar.
and it was greatly appreciated. I was happy to look over the peanut M&Ms.
That's what I had too. Yeah, that's the way
king
to go,
of the candies,
right?
yes.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. All right, you guys, there is something really special happening on Entertainment Tonight this week. The crew is right here in Waikiki.
Very cool.
Yeah, and today we're getting a preview of the new Black Panther movie. Let's turn things over to Nichelle with more on that.
Aloha, Jonathan. I'm in your hometown at the beautiful Sheraton Waikiki for ET's Hawaii Week. Now, Wakanda Forever comes to theaters November 11th, so I was on the premiere's purple carpet where the stars told me how they're honoring Chadwick on set and off. Chadwick's presence is all over this premiere tonight. I just spoke with Ryan. He's got a medallion with Chadwick's face on it.
He did. He wore that every day. He wears that every day. He keeps him close to his heart.
People like Chadwick don't come along often, and I was blessed to have spent a whole lot of time with him.
It's really hard to do this without our brother. He should be here.
Before we started shot one frame, we all gathered together at his resting place, and we his name to the heavens.
Lupita Nyong'o explained how the loss of their star changed the course of the sequel.
We lost Chadwick, and so Wakanda lost T'Challa, and the country and are figuring out how to move forward without him. And we see the characters that we know and love, dealing with that in very different ways.
Only the most broken people can be great leaders.
Tenoch Huerta joins the cast as Namor, Wakanda's new rival. Just don't call him the bad guy.
Are we the villain?
Well, he's not a villain because he's protecting his family, he's protecting his people, he's protecting his kingdom.
And ET's Hawaii Week rolls on as we go canoe surfing with the cast of Magnum P.I., plus Heidi Klum's Halloween costume that you need to see to believe, and only we were there. For Entertainment Tonight, I'm Nichelle Turner.
Nichelle didn't invite me on their field trip with Magnum.
Yeah, it would be very cool to see, what the entire Hawaii experience is like for the crew. But,
they're having fun.
Great to have them.
They're having fun. Don't forget, Entertainment Tonight airs right after our 6 p.m. newscast on KGMB, the most watched entertainment news show on the planet, and it's right here on your Hawaii News Now stations. You guys, that's going to do it for This Is Now. Mark's back first at 4 on KHNL. Don't want to miss it.
Aloha.